Imagine you finish a brilliant book, and 2 weeks later you can barely explain a single idea. You remember loving it, maybe underlining a few lines, but the details, gone. Now imagine the opposite. Every chapter you read turns into clear notes, practical actions, and insights you can recall years later, almost on command. You start seeing connections between books, applying ideas at work, in your studies, and in your relationships. Reading stops being a hobby and becomes your secret competitive edge. In this video, I'll walk you through a complete reading system designed for one thing: remember more, apply more, and retain insights almost forever. It works whether you read physical books, ebooks, or audio. By the end, you'll have a step-by-step process you can plug in today. No fancy apps required, though I'll mention some good ones. Let's turn your reading into a permanent upgrade to your thinking. Most people think reading more books is the goal. It isn't. The real goal is to permanently change how you think and act because of what you read. That's what this system is about. Not speed reading for bragging rights, but high-yield reading that sticks and translates into results. Here's how we'll break it down. First, we'll reset your mindset about reading and clarify why you're reading in the first place. Then we'll build a simple process: how to pick the right books, how to prepare before you read, how to read actively, how to take notes that actually work, and how to review so you don't forget. Finally, we'll connect everything into a weekly ritual you can sustain. If that sounds useful, stick with me until the end. And if you enjoy systems like this, consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell so you don't miss future deep dives. Now let's start with the real purpose of reading. The first step to remembering more from what you read is surprisingly simple. Stop treating all reading as the same. There's entertainment reading, information grazing, and then there's strategic reading. Reading to solve problems, build skills, and shift perspectives. Our system is built only for that third category. Before you open a book, ask one question: what job do I want this book to do for me? Maybe it's helping you negotiate better, focus longer, or understand history for an exam. The clearer the job, the more your brain filters and stores what matters. Think of each book as a tool in a mental toolbox. You don't buy every tool in the store, you buy the ones that fit the job. In a minute, we'll design a pre-reading ritual. But first, write down 3 areas of your life you want to upgrade in the next 6 months. Those become your reading themes and your filter for what's worth finishing. Once you know why you're reading, the next upgrade is what you choose to read. Most forgetting comes from reading random things that don't connect to your current challenges. So build a reading backlog aligned with your life. Here's a simple method. Step 1. Create 3 categories based on your themes, like career, mindset, health. Step 2. For each category, list 5 to 10 highly recommended books only. Curate ruthlessly. Use trusted lists, mentors, or people you admire in that field. Step 3. Prioritize with one question: if I fully applied this book, how big would the impact be in 1 year? Now you've turned reading from impulse to strategy. When you finish a book, you don't scramble for the next. You pull from a pre-filtered list. This alone boosts retention because your brain sees patterns between related books, creating a web instead of isolated islands of information. Most people open a book at page 1 and start plowing forward. That's like walking into a city blindfolded. Pre-reading gives you a mental map so your brain knows what to notice and where to store it. Here's a 5-minute pre-reading ritual. 1. Scan the table of contents and try to predict the book's core argument in 1 sentence. 2. Read the introduction and conclusion, then ask, if the author succeeds, what will I believe or be able to do differently? 3. Flip through the chapters, glance at headings, diagrams, and summaries. 4. Write 3 specific questions you want this book to answer. 5. Quickly note where this book fits in your life themes. Now, when you read, your brain is on a treasure hunt, not a sightseeing tour. You'll automatically remember more because you're matching incoming ideas to expectations and questions you yourself created.
Active reading is where your retention multiplies. Instead of letting words wash over you, you engage with the text like a sparring partner. There are three core behaviors: questioning, chunking, and talking back. Questioning means pausing every few pages to ask, what is the author really trying to say here? Do I agree? How would I explain this to a friend? Chunking means grouping ideas into small, labeled units, like 5 causes of procrastination, instead of a vague mass of paragraphs. Talking back means writing short reactions in the margins or in a separate notebook. This contradicts Cal Newport, or test this in next meeting. You don't need to highlight everything. Highlight sparingly. And when you do, label the highlight with a keyword or symbol: Q for question, A for actionable, for surprising, C for connection. Each mark becomes a memory hook you'll use in review. To remember and apply more, you need notes that are usable, not just prettier versions of the book. Think of your notes as a personal user manual, not a museum archive. A simple framework is the 3C note: content, connections, commitments. Content: capture only the core ideas in your own words, using bullets or short summaries per chapter. Avoid copying sentences. Paraphrasing forces understanding. Connections: for each major idea, ask, what does this remind me of? Link it to another book, a personal story, or a problem you're facing. This weaves the idea into your existing knowledge. Commitments: this is the game changer. End each reading session with one tiny behavior or experiment derived from what you read. Tomorrow, I'll try the 5-minute rule for starting tasks. Mark those with a star or a different color. Your notes now contain a roadmap from theory to action. Your brain doesn't remember raw text. It remembers images, stories, and meaning. To retain ideas longer, wrap them in something your memory loves. 2 quick techniques: concrete images and mini stories. Concrete images: when you encounter an abstract concept like opportunity cost, force yourself to picture a vivid scene. You're in a cafe choosing between 2 cakes. Picking one means losing the other. The weirder or more emotional the image, the stickier it is. Mini stories: turn bullet points into short scenarios. Instead of 3 types of feedback, imagine a scene at work where your manager uses each type on you. Add names, locations, even dialogue. You don't need to write it all down, just mentally rehearse it once or twice. These tiny translations from abstract to concrete turn slippery concepts into mental hooks you can easily grab during reviews, conversations, or real-life decisions. Remembering forever isn't magic. It's spacing and retrieval. You need a lightweight review system that fits into real life. Here's a simple schedule: same day, 3 days, 10 days, 30 days. Same day, after you finish a reading session, close the book and, from memory, summarize the key ideas on a blank page. No notes. This active recall glues the material. 3 days later, skim your highlights and 3C notes, then quiz yourself. What were the 3 main arguments? Or, which experiments did I commit to? 10 days and 30 days, do a faster version, just enough to refresh the mental hooks. If you use digital tools like Notion, Obsidian, or Anki, you can automate reminders. But you don't have to. A simple calendar or even writing review dates on the book's inside cover works. Consistent brief reviews beat long, sporadic marathons every time. Reading only becomes life-changing when you do something differently. So build an application lane alongside your reading. Every time you capture a commitment in your notes, you'll run it through a tiny pipeline. Clarify, schedule, reflect. Clarify. Rewrite the commitment as a specific behavior. Use the 2-minute rule to start my hardest task at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Schedule. Put it into your calendar or task manager immediately. If it doesn't fit on your schedule, it won't fit in your life. Reflect. After you try it once or twice, add a 1-line note under that book's page. Worked, kept me from procrastinating, or didn't fit my job. This feedback loop refines your system and prevents collecting beautiful but useless theories. Over months, your reading history becomes a visible trail of experiments and upgrades, a portfolio of how your thinking and habits evolved. To truly retain ideas forever, you'll want a simple personal knowledge system, a home for your book notes that you can revisit and grow over time. This doesn't have to be complicated. Create 3 basic layers. Layer 1, source notes. Each book gets 1 page with your 3C notes and key quotes. Layer 2, idea notes. Pull out standalone concepts that could live outside the book, like deep work or deliberate practice, and give each its own page. Layer 3, project notes. Link ideas from different books into real projects you're working on. Over time, you're not just storing information, you're building a network of ideas that talk to each other. When you start a new project, you search your system and instantly see every relevant idea you've ever captured ready to apply. That's when reading becomes exponential. Audio and ebooks can absolutely fit this system. You just have to tweak how you capture and review. For audiobooks, think of listening as a scouting mission, not the final pass. On your first listen, focus on big ideas and mark interesting moments with bookmarks or quick voice memos on your phone. When a book feels truly valuable, do a second pass in text, physical or ebook, where you apply the full system: pre-reading, active notes, and 3C structure. If you can't, at least pause after each chapter and record a 60-second voice summary. Key point: 1 connection, 1 commitment. For ebooks, use highlights sparingly and export them into your note system weekly. Then convert raw highlights into paraphrased notes and commitments. The principle stays the same. Listening or tapping through pages is input. Memory and impact come from deliberate interaction afterward. A system is only as good as your ability to stick with it, so let's design a friction-free ritual. Think in terms of daily micro-sessions and 1 weekly integration block. Daily, aim for 25 to 30 minutes of focused reading, not endless hours. Use a simple routine: same time, same place, same beverage. During this time, you'll pre-read if it's a new book, then read actively, and end with a quick 3C note capture plus a 1-sentence summary. Weekly, schedule a 45-minute session. Call it your reading integration lab. Here you'll review the week's notes, update your knowledge system, schedule any new commitments, and do quick spaced reviews of older books following the 3-10-30 pattern. Because the blocks are small and predictable, they're easier to maintain. Your goal is not perfection, it's consistency. Tiny, compounding upgrades to your thinking over months and years. Let's zoom out and tie the whole reading system together. You started by redefining the purpose of reading, not volume but transformation. From there, you built intention with themes and a curated backlog, so every book has a clear job in your life. Before reading, you now pre-map the territory: table of contents, intro, conclusion, and 3 burning questions, so your brain hunts for answers. During reading, you engage actively, questioning, chunking, and talking back to the author, while capturing 3C notes: content, connections, commitments, in your own words. You reinforce memory with vivid images and mini-stories, then lock it in through spaced reviews using active recall. Application happens through your lane: clarify, schedule, reflect. Finally, your knowledge system collects and connects ideas across books and projects, powered by daily micro-sessions and a weekly integration ritual. Follow even 70% of this, and forgetting what you read will become the exception, not the rule. You now have a complete practical reading system. Choose with intention, pre-read, engage actively, take 3C notes, review with spacing, and turn ideas into experiments and then into habits. This is how you remember more, apply more, and retain insights for years. Here's your next step. Today, pick 1 book you're currently reading or about to start. Spend 10 minutes doing the pre-reading ritual and setting up a simple note page with content, connections, and commitments. Then, tonight or tomorrow, do 1 25-minute focused session using the techniques we covered. If you found this useful and you want more deep dive systems for learning, productivity, and thinking clearly, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you catch future videos. Comment below with the book you're going to use this system on first. I'd love to see your choices and maybe feature a few in a follow-up. Share this with a friend who reads a lot but remembers little. You might change how they learn forever.